Hello and welcomes everyone, AnthWolf here with a new Let's Play of Star Wars The Old Republic, developed by Bioware, published by Electronic Arts, also known as EA, and distributed by LucasArts. I'm not sure if LucasArts hold the distribution rights, or whether or not it's Disney now. It's not mentioned. I just went by Wikipedia and it still states that LucasArts is the distributor of the game ever since its inception. And of course, if you're unfamiliar with Star Wars The Old Republic, it is an MMO, an online massively multiplayer online game, where it explores the Star Wars universe, or at least a part of the Star Wars universe, which technically is non-canon, since it's set thousands of years in the past prior to the actual movies that most people are more familiar with. Now, as you're mostly aware, I've done quite a few playthroughs of Star Wars The Old Republic on my channel, and similarly to those, I have decided to start a new class storyline, this one of course being the Sith Inquisitor. The Sith Inquisitor has two advanced classes, the Sith Assassin and the Sith Sorcerer. And I hate using words beginning with S because I have a slight speech impediment in some ways. I apologise for that. Most people haven't called me out on it, but it's probably there, unfortunately. But no, I want to play as a Sith, and I've decided how I want to roleplay as this character. It has been asked by various subscribers before if I'll do this playthrough, or if I do a trooper, I think it was as well, which may come in the future, but no, we're going to be looking at the Sith Inquisitor in this playthrough, and alike to my Imperial agent, of course we're working for the Sith Empire, but I want to do a semi-long playthrough, where it's not just going to be focusing on the class, the main missions that revolve around the storyline, but we'll be trying to complete all of the side quests and optional quests that a Sith Inquisitor may encounter on the various worlds we explore, just to give more of a grounding in the universe that is occurring around us, what's happening in the timeline, because at this point in time, at the beginning of the game at least, the Galactic Republic and the Sith Empire are in a tenuous truce after the sacking of Coruscant. And obviously, as time goes on, tensions rise, and the Galactic Republic and the Sith Empire tend to go to war again for one reason or another. And I don't know what the Sith Inquisitor storyline is after Chapter 1. The main storyline is made up of 3 chapters, and they each have their own individual arcs. And at the end of Chapter 1, I think it's interesting, but I don't know why I didn't continue with my Sith Inquisitor playing at my own pace. But I thought I might as well do it here and now and record my adventures with you all, and some people might like that, some people might not, and that's fair enough. That's what we're here to look at, basically. Now, in a few moments I will actually get into the game and get creating my character, but a couple of notes beforehand. Just as a general rule, I've mentioned this before in previous Star Wars The Old Republic playthroughs, but you're most likely, people who've watched these videos anyway, are probably more aware of the storyline than I am. And if possible, unless I have reached that point in the storyline, I would ask kindly not to add any spoilers in the comments below for future events. Just in case, not just for myself, but also for fellow viewers of YouTube, basically, in case it spoils the storyline for them more than anything as well. While we're going through character creation, I will go through the role of a Sith Inquisitor. There are notes on your various race that you'll play as, the class and advanced class of that class you choose, basically, the advanced classes and such. And I'll go about what armor and weapons they wield and wear, of course. But we will be wearing another set of adaptive armor, which is the general rule. Now, I have chosen some armor I want to wear, and I've taken this from the SWTOR fashion website, from another user who has posted a few pictures of their character, and it looks really cool actually, which is why I've chosen to wear the armor. But the armor, or some of it at least, can only be worn at level 50. As such, I do have some lower level wearable adaptive armor which I'll be wearing throughout the game up until we hit level 50, and then I'll be switching to the armor I'll be wearing for the rest of the series. Adaptable armor, if you're unaware, is basically armor which has item slots where you can equip different bits of armor, mods and enhancements, and depending on what grade of those you put into the armor makes the armor a particular level. Therefore you can level up with this armor, like, I'm not sure, is it like heirloom armor in World of Warcraft? I never play World of Warcraft much, but I imagine it's similar. It's armor that can level up with your character, so their appearance doesn't change radically. Now, I've probably forgotten a few things I should mention before we start this series, but in just a moment I will get us actually into the game creating our character. And if I have forgotten anything, I'll mention it as we're developing and creating the character we will be playing as throughout this series. We'll probably get through the opening squall and opening cutscene, and then I might break the video depending on how long the video turns out to be. But then once we get into part 2, the next video, that's when we'll actually get into some gameplay. I will have a few things to mention there as well, but I'll talk about that when we get to that point. So yeah, I'll see you in just a moment. And welcomes back everyone once again. We're actually now in game ready to create our Sith Inquisitor. I just remembered I should mention about whether or not this character should go into the expansions after I've completed all 3 of the main story arcs, the 3 chapters. I haven't decided yet. I would like to take this character into the expansions, which of course are Rise of the Hood Cartel, the Shadow of Revan expansion, and now just recently released last year, the Knights of the Fallen Empire expansion. But I'm going to decide at the end of this 3rd chapter, basically get the Inquisitor's main storyline out the way, and if I've enjoyed it enough, then yes I will. We will just have to wait and see. As you can see, this is currently the classes I have completed their main storyline. I'm halfway to getting legendary status, which gives you an icon next to your name saying you've completed all of the classes up to their main storyline. Obviously we played as Asura, my Sith warrior, Valakar, who we're continuing on here and now, our bounty hunter, Verona, my Imperial agent, and Malcolm, the Galactic Republic smuggler or scoundrel. As I say, we will be now going into the Sith Inquisitor. I like playing as a member of the Sith Empire more. I have started a playthrough as a Jedi Consular, but that is up to a certain point, and I haven't really been enjoying this series so far. It's quite laid back, and I'm role-playing it as a typical Jedi, very patient, calm, diplomatic, at peace with oneself, serene. I think that's kind of the word we should be looking for. And it's boring. I mean, the storyline's probably well done and it's well voice acted, but I'm not enjoying myself, whereas playing as a Sith Inquisitor with the roleplay I have in mind, which I'm going to talk about in the near future for this video, I think it'll be more fun. That's my opinion. Anyway, we won't be playing as Valakar. We've just completed chapter 11. At this point in time anyway, of his Knights of the Fallen Empire expansion. So, let us create a new character. We won't be creating a level 60 character, which basically throws you straight into the Knights of the Fallen Empire expansion. We'll be starting from level 1, and it shouldn't take us too long to get to level 65, which is the current cap. I say we will be playing with all the expansions running, so since October 2015, there has been some major changes with the new expansion in terms of how your companions interact with you. There used to be like a like and dislike bar, but now there's an influence bar, which I'll explain once we have a companion in the game. They've also changed some of the game mechanics in terms of your character's stats. But you don't really need to know what it was like previously. But if you look at, say, I think Valakar at the beginning of his playthrough, the stats there shown are different than what they are now. But I wouldn't want to say if it's an improvement or not. I just have to accept that that's how the development team have taken the game forward. So let's create a level 1 character. Choose your alliance, or allegiance, whichever way you want to do it. Allegiance, I think, is the proper way to pronounce that. We'll be working within the Sith Empire. We're not going to be working for the Sith Empire so much as we are going to be a member of it. A rigid militaristic society where aliens are subjugated and the Sith Lords are supreme. The Empire is ruled by the mysterious, all-powerful Sith Emperor. To Imperial citizens, power is everything and only the strongest ascend to glory. Which is true. If you know anything about the Sith Empire, it's dominated by the Force-using Sith and the Sith Council. What are they called? The Dark Council, that's what they're called. Which I think is 10 of the most powerful Sith for their knowledge of power, their cunning, or basically what they have over everyone else. They have a lot of leverage, shall we say. And they get to make decisions for the entirety of the entire Sith Empire, because at the moment the Emperor is still around, but in the background, kind of in a slumber, and so the Dark Council have taken on the reins of leadership, while we have this uneasy truce going on. Meanwhile, of course, you do have Imperial Intelligence, you have the Bounty Hunting Guild, which are other major factions within the Sith Empire, but basically the Sith look down on everyone, and the Sith Empire in a whole, as it mentions, look down on aliens. If you aren't human, or say a pure-blooded Sith, then you have less opportunities in the Empire. Typically, anyway. We must choose our class. We will be playing as a Sith Inquisitor. Obviously, it gives you kind of a brief idea. Where the Sith Warrior is Rage and Inquisitor is Cunning. A master of Force Lightning and Arcane Secrets, the Inquisitor can hold one enemy in the air and stun the other, all while attacking with a lightsaber designed for maximum pain. Sounds fun, doesn't it? And this is where we choose our species, our race. We'll actually be playing as a Ratataki. Born and bred in a culture of war, the Ratataki tattoo harsh, deep black symbols across their white skin and never walk away from a fight. Obviously they have a social ability. This is just basically like a show-off ability. It has no real purpose in the game, but just like a social flair, I suppose you could call it. Kind of like a dancing emote and such. And we now choose our gender. I think we'll play as a female Ratataki. Let's say we have Malcolm and Valakar as two of our male characters, and we have Verona and Asura as our female, currently in my series. So if I do a female Inquisitor, maybe a male Trooper in the future? Try to keep the game balanced. Well, keep my series balanced. I think the voice acting for the Inquisitor is both good for the male or female. I should have looked up who the female Inquisitor voice actress is, and I'll probably put that as a notation over the front of how I'm speaking now. But I've heard both good things about both voice actors, or actresses. Actors is the... I don't know. Either way. Female.
Well, that wasn't so bad, was it?
And this is where we choose our overall appearance. We have a lot of sliders. I have already customized my character. One thing I should mention about Sith Inquisitors, I'll mention it now before we go into the appearance. All Sith Inquisitors at the beginning of the game, you don't get a choice in this, are slaves. Whichever race you are, whatever background you want to be in, it doesn't really matter. You arrive on... what planet? It's not Droman Kos. What planet do you arrive on again? Holy hell, you know when you just totally have like a memory Holy hell, I've totally forgotten. That's terrible. It's not the Sith homeworld, but it's... Oh, holy hell. That's embarrassing. But anyway, yeah.
No,
Whatever...
That wasn't so bad, was it?
Whatever race you choose, whatever class... Well, as a Sith Inquisitor, when you arrive on the world, you are a slave. And can be shown by various scars. Oh, I've got my notepad here.
Just to show me where the fun is.
Various scars like this on your person. I will be going with this one. But it marks your status, your mark as a slave. And if we so choose, I'll just choose, as canon, this character will have been discovered by, say, a Force-using, Sith, obviously, who has found the potential in us to be like them somewhat, and have the potential to be a member of the Sith Empire in a greater capacity than just being a plain slave. As a slave, though, we were suffering from, say, malnutrition. Obviously, food was scarce and the work was hard. And so we're actually going to go with body type 1, which is the thin body appearance.
No, that wasn't so bad, was it?
2 tends to be the default. And then you've got, the tall and brawny. And then you've got the very curvy body type. But we'll be going with the very thin...
It's not fear I smell, is it?
The thin body type, because... It works well with the armor I want to wear, which is the primary reason why I'm choosing that body type. But it also works well in the storyline that a Sith Inquisitor starts as a slave before they begin their training. Let's have a look. Our headpiece. We need to use our scars. We've chosen that scar already. Complexion. Obviously you can have various different complexions here. But we will be going with 16, that's the one. Then we have eye colour. We only have 3 eye colours as a Radataki. We'll be going with this one. They have various jewellery they can wear, from some to none. We're going to be going with this one. Yep. And then our tattoos, which is obviously another feature of the Radataki when, as I mentioned, they mark their white skin. And we were going with this one. There you go. So, I say we're going to be playing as a Radataki Sith Inquisitor who is female, and hopefully going to be rising from our lowly position as a slave now, as a Force-using, obviously, Sith. Now, in roleplay purposes, I should mention, since we were a slave, how I'm hoping to roleplay this character is I'm hoping to be quite manipulative, quite power hungry. We've been a slave and we never want to be in that situation, that position again. And so I want to roleplay this depending on what choices are available as the storyline continues, as in I want to do whatever it takes to gain power. And that is political, obviously physical, in forms of the Force. Basically trying to seek knowledge to make ourselves greater than we were and greater than the people around us. And that being the case, considering we're going to be kind of an acolyte at the beginning, we're not going to be taking orders very well. We're going to be quite rebellious to authority. And obviously we'll see where it goes. Obviously there are light and dark side decisions in some of the choices you make. I'm not sure if I want to go purely dark side, but I think our character is going to be relatively evil. She's going to be quite greedy for power, and therefore that greed tends to be a choice of the dark side. Though we may not be permanently choosing dark side options if it's going to get us something. If we have to play along with someone and be nice for a moment just to coerce them into doing something for us later, then we shall do so. But finally we get to name our character, and it's going to be Verena, or Varia. That's how it's going to be pronounced. And yeah, we'll go with that. Now, when I press play, it's going to go into the John Williams theme as it scrolls up and introduces our character. Gives you a brief background. And then, obviously, we're going to arrive on the planet which I've forgotten its name of. God damn it. I feel so embarrassed. It's been a long time since I've been on this world. But, yeah, obviously we'll watch the scrolling text. We'll go into the opening cutscene where we have to discuss things on the world. And, obviously, we'll go from there. So, I'll see you in just a moment. Goddamn Korriban. I can't believe I forgot that name. Anyhows.
The last one to arrive is finally here. I hope you don't think you're special. It would be a shame if freedom went to your head. Or if you somehow got the idea you didn't need to pass your trials to become Sith. Lord Zash has tasked me with sorting through you refuse to find one worthy of being her apprentice, and I intend to do just that.
Who is this Zash?
That's Lord Zash to you, slave. She's a Dark Lord of the Sith and more important than you'll ever be. Now the rest of you gutter trash already know your trial. Get going while I bring our latecomer up to speed.
Watch your back, friend. And don't worry, it'll be all right. He can't kill us all.
I'll attack from the front, you take him from behind, and we'll see how he fares.
Yeah. Looks like you can handle yourself.
Now, slave, for your trial. There's a hermit named Spindrol who lives in the tomb of Ajunta Paul in the Valley of the Dark Lords. Spindrol's a lunatic, but Lord Zash sees him as some kind of prophet. Once you find him, he will test you.
Fine. I will seek the insane hermit in the incredibly dangerous tomb and take his little test.
But there, you know your task. Spindrel lives in the tomb of Ajunta Paul in the Valley of the Dark Lords. Don't keep Spindrel waiting, slave.
Ah, Overseer Harkin, how I hate you. Welcome to the Knights of the Fallen Empire. No thanks, I don't want to see any further information. Yeah, welcome to Korriban. I'm still kicking myself that I can't remember that planet's name, or this planet's name. Let's have a load of my preferred interface, which we'll be using for the entirety of the game. Okay, that's a bit better. Right, and let us leave. Actually, I will want to play with my controls, but I'll do that between this video and the next one, but we'll park ourselves here. Just get rid of my legacy surname. We don't need to look at the outfit designer. Yeah, we'll park ourselves here. See, welcome to Korriban. Quite a few people on it right now, but I am recording at the beginning of the evening here. And we have some nasties just down the ramp there. The first things for us to kill. But yeah, obviously I'll just turn myself around and get parked. When we come back, I will have sorted the game out to my appropriate settings that I'm comfortable with. You can see we have some unread mail. Most of them are sent by Bioware and EA themselves, because I've been a subscriber since the game was founded, basically, when the game was first released. I'll sort through all those messages. I will send some messages from my other characters to this one, in terms of some of the gear I'll be wearing. And, obviously, there's a few things I need to go over in terms of some of the game mechanics. And, apart from that, we'll get actually into the sacrificial chamber of the tomb of Ajunta Paul to find this lunatic hermit known as Spindrel. But yeah, obviously feel free to comment. This is obviously the first video of the series, so I hope you're all going to enjoy the series with me. But yeah, I hope this campaign, this storyline goes strong for us and I actually enjoy myself as we do it. But I'll see you all in the future. Until then, bye bye now.